for a second about hormone replacement therapy, HRT. Katie Couric did a special on this back in October of 2010. And HRT, what is it? It's hormone replacement therapy. And she did a really good job, I think, of nailing the holes in the coffin of the synthetic drugs that mask as hormones. I think she uses the terminology differently than I would. I don't think of the synthetic drugs, the Premarin, which is the horse pea, the Pravira, the Prempro. I don't think of those as hormone replacement. Those are drugs that mask as hormones. They're synthetic. And she pretty much, in her news report, nailed the holes in the coffin of the fact that it's been proven with Women's Health Initiative of Women's Health Initiative of 2002 that these drugs can have health risks. And I thought that was great. I wish she would have used words besides HRT, but she did, and so I want to make sure that we understand that the terminology. Hormone replacement therapy is when you actually replace your hormones. What we do is bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. We use hormones that are bioidentical to what your body used to make. They're made in our compounding lab, and then we give those to you, normally through a topical cream, that you can replace your levels bioidentically. So we're not talking about the same thing that she did. She's talking about HRT, the synthetic stuff that the drug companies make that are dosed for the masses. The Women's Health Initiative found to have health risks associated with them. What I do is not that at all. I do BHRT, bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. I think it's important to differentiate. And the reason is because sometimes you go to your doctor and you'll say to him or her, HRT, and their hair will stand straight up. HRT, no! And they really mean the synthetic drugs. They don't mean what we do, what our compounding lab is involved in. What we do, again, is BHRT. So I want to show you another poster here that addresses some of the myths that I have had reports on from my clients, and they go to their doctor. And their doctors, and they mean well, they really do. Again, I love doctors. But they'll bring up, I want to do the HRT, and the doctors will say, oh no, you can't. It's not FDA approved. My response to that is this, listen carefully. Everything we make, estradiol, progesterone, testosterone, is all FDA approved. You know why FDA doesn't approve us? We don't dose for the masses. When I customize therapy for you based on your body's needs, on the testing that we've done on you, and I make it for you, I just dose for one, I'm under the Ohio State Board of Pharmacy. The FDA is not allowed to approve me. So when doctors say, oh, it's not FDA approved, they mean that as a negative. The reality is it's just not their job. Everything we make is FDA approved. I think that's interesting. So anytime a doctor says that to you, it isn't FDA approved, so it can't be good, think again and say, you know what, that really isn't accurate, doctor, because they dose for one and customize therapy for one. The FDA's job isn't to approve them. It's the Ohio State Board of Pharmacy. And by the way, we're strictly regulated. So I think that's huge. The second myth doctors might address is, oh, insurance doesn't cover compounded therapy. Wrong again. We actually do. We bill insurance for reimbursement on the lab fee that the lab charges you. We also bill every month for the monthly compounds. It's I think, very inexpensive, and it's often the cost of a copay. In fact, do you know what? Lots of times the price of the hormone is cheaper than the copay. I think that's important to remember. So it's not pricey, not expensive, then we do bill insurance. And number 3, commercially made BHRT gets the same results as customized BHRT. Here's where education comes in. Let me just go ahead and talk about that for a moment. BHRT, again, is bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. BHRT is made by drug companies in some cases. They've got the patch, they've got the gel, estrogel, and Vival patch, and so on. And the difference with what they do and what we do is that the BHRT made by drug companies is dosed for the masses. One strength fits most. And doctors that normally use this, if they check hormone levels at all, they probably use blood where the ranges are so big that I find them to not be that helpful. That's just me. What we do actually is we check your levels with saliva testing that we have had great results with. It's very accurate, it's very specific to you at the cellular level, and then we compound therapy just for you. So we can tweak that. When you slap a patch on you, it's hard to adjust that dosage. When we give you a topical cream and you're having symptoms, we can actually control the dosage by having you dose it down or dose it up a little bit. So we can actually customize for you. BHRT by Drug Company, they make a progesterone called Prometrium. Not a bad product at all. But Prometrium comes in 2 doses, 100 and 200 milligrams. It's a capsule. It's soaked in peanut oil, and it lasts in the body for 6 hours. When we dose topically, our creams last in the bloodstream for 24 hours. So I don't know, it's your journey. I'm just saying for me, I like knowing that something is made for me based on my levels that were checked the right way, which is, for me, again, my opinion is saliva testing, that it was customized for dosing for my body based on my body's needs, and then we can customize that and tweak that as we need to. I think that's critical. So when doctors throw myths at you, just buyer beware. I have another story for you here. I had one of our clients go to her doctor. She actually is on our therapy, and she has a doctor that she used to go to that she really liked. But the doctor wouldn't have anything to do with what we do, so this client had to leave and go to another doctor on our website. But she said, Lynn, I really want to visit this doctor and talk to her about what it is she's missing, because she could help so many women. I said, fine. So I gave this client our clinical studies. I mean, we have a lot of studies. I gave a great one, is by Kent Holtorf, the BHRT debate. It's on my website, recommended readings. You can click on the link, there it is. We have Case for BHRT by Stephen Hotze. There's another great study by Fournier. It's Fornier, called the Cohort Study. Huge. We had lots of studies. So this client took our studies to this doctor, and the doctor sat down with her. You know, this client paid for another office visit. She wanted to talk to the doctor and just empower the doctor. The doctor said, okay. She took the studies we gave her. I'll put this in your folder. I'm not going to read these, but I want you to read this. And the doctor handed our client this study. And my husband Jeff is the compounding pharmacist, has done this for a long time. We went through each of these points. The name of it is BHRT, Sorting Myth from Fact. And at the top is stamped FDA. So that's a red flag in my mind, but that's a personal bias, sorry. And every single myth they attacked with their facts were all wrong. And I went through here with my husband, and every single talking point they gave, they're all incorrect, to the point of actually being untruthful. And I think that's interesting. And here's something else that I think is very interesting. If you go to your doctor who wants to prescribe you the synthetic stuff, ask them for their studies. There aren't any. The studies they have are the Women's Health Initiative that show that they are not great for your health. So I think that's amazing. I can hand you these studies that show you what we do is safe and effective. I got tons of them. And by the way, on my website, recommended readings, there's a practitioner's button for practitioners. Lots of studies. I can hand them to you. You go to your doctor and ask for a study from them. They'll hand you a piece of paper that has myth from fact that's got the FDA stamp. But are you kidding me? Really? And they're all lies in here. So it just every day that I think about this and deal with women on a daily basis, pretty much 24/7, it refocuses my commitment to really get out there and educate you, because you will talk to somebody else. I also want to talk about the fact that after the Katie Couric special aired, that we had a segment on the Today Show by Dr. Nancy Snyderman, who simply repeated what Katie Couric had said, which I thought was fine, but then she went ahead and made a statement that really, we got a lot of calls and emails of concern and anger at Nancy Snyderman. And Nancy Snyderman went on to say at the very end of her presentation on the TV segment for the Today Show that that it has come to light. We are kind of just proving once and for all that the synthetic drugs do have health risks associated. Then she went on to say this, but there is no proof that the alternative natural therapy is any safer. And I got calls and letters of outrage. So what I did is I said, you need to email the Today Show at msnbc.com and let Nancy Snyderman know how disappointed you are. I did that twice. I actually showed her I gave her links to our studies. I said, absolutely, you are wrong. And I actually said in the email, I said, you know what, you're a talk box for Big Pharma. We don't need that anymore. You don't have the truth. We do have studies. They're in my hand. They're on my website, and I gave her those links. Also, the head of ZRT Lab that does the saliva testing, David Zaba, I had dinner with him in Orlando in October, and he also addressed a great newsletter about the fact that the information that she was saying was really inaccurate and disappointing, and to me, really cost her credibility. So you really have to take the information that's thrown at you and understand that it isn't all with your best interest at heart.